Hey there, and welcome back to our last video in our mini series about 1031 exchanges. I have a quick question for you. So if I was a person, an individual that was syndicating a deal, how could somebody get into our deal that we're syndicating if they had 1031 exchange money?
That's a great question. We get this a lot from 1031 buyers. They hear of a friend that's putting together an investment deal, and so they want to be a part of it. And so it's a little bit tricky because and depending on how much money they have, they want to come in but not disrupt sort of what the deal is going to look like from a partnership perspective. So the basis of 1031 is that you actually have to purchase real property. You can't purchase a partnership interest. So they can't hand their money over and take a percentage of the partnership. It's disallowed by the IRS. However, we had talked about tenants in common earlier. A tenant in common is an allowable structure that you can 1031 into a percentage of interest, a percentage of undivided interest into a property. And so that's sort of the description of a tenant in common that they use. And so what has to happen is you essentially have to set it up ahead of time. And when closing happens, so you have all your buyers lined up, the entity is in place, and the entity will come in as, say, 80% tenant in common interest in the property, and then the 1031 buyer might come in as a tenant in common for that other 20% on the property. So that takes some tax counsel to help with. It takes some real estate counsel to make sure that the actual tenant in common agreement functions. So there's stuff out there on the internet, I'm sure you've seen all sorts of legal documents. Oh, you get a free legal document. I'm sure there are lots of tenant in common agreements out there on the internet that are circulating, but they have to have very specific things in them in order to qualify for a 1031 exchange. And so again, that's where working with good counsel, making sure that agreement is in place to be correct and to accomplish the goals of the investors is really important. But it is possible to invest in a deal. You've done all the work of finding a property, making sure that it's going to be cash flowing. That's really difficult these days. And so the individual investors are finding, I get calls all the time where, maybe they have $1 million and they thought it would be easy to find a value add property and get into something new. And they're just finding, I need to partner with other people in order to get a good deal where I'm actually earning money. So that is an option. I think, again, it's better if they approach you saying, hey, we have 1031 funds, or we're going to have 1031 funds.
Yep.
And so to start that conversation with the correct goals in mind is really important, but it's definitely worth the discussion. The taxes that you can save for doing 1031 are definitely worth paying the legal bills if it's going to be a good investment in the future too.
Yeah, and for a long time. So that is what is going to wrap up our video mini-series on 1031 exchanges. If you guys have any questions about possibly partnering with your 1031 exchange money, wanting more answers as far as if you're already in a deal and you're looking at moving things around, or if you have a 1031 or have more questions, you can reach out to us, admin@theapartmentqueen.com, or go ahead and leave a comment below and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, absolutely.
Yeah.